I want to give an explanation about what a binomial distribution is, and a good example is, suppose you flip a coin, say 10 times, and let x equal the number of heads you get. Well, then x is a discrete random variable from a binomial distribution, and it illustrates, or it has the following characteristics, with the following characteristics. Number one is that there are n independent trials. When I say independent, it means what happens on one trial doesn't affect the probabilities of the subsequent trial. And for the coin flipping, the 10 coin flips. So n equals 10. Each coin flip is an independent trial. The second property is that each trial has two possible outcomes. Two possible outcomes for each trial. One is labeled success. The other is labeled failure. P is equal to the probability of success, and Q, which is equal to 1 minus P, is the probability of failure. In our example, we called X the number of heads. So in this example, flipping head equals success. Tail equals failure. And then the probability of success, which is P, would be 0.5 because it's a 50-50 shot to flip a head, and Q, which is 1 minus P, the probability of failure, which would be flipping a tail, would also be 0.5. The third characteristic is the random variable. This is number 3, the random variable x is equal to the number of successes in n trials. So in our example, the x would be equal to the number of heads you flip in 10 trials. Now, x is a discrete random variable that could take on the values either 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And with each of those possible outcomes, there's a probability associated. Now, that's too many. So, for example, suppose we flipped the coin twice. Then we would get a chart of the random variable and the probabilities associated that looks like this. So for two flips, the possible values for the random variable, you might get 0 head, 1 head, or 2 heads. And the probability, as I'm not going to go into how to calculate this because we've done this before, the probability of getting no heads is 0.25. the probability of getting one head is 0.5, and the probability of getting both heads is 0.25. As usual, notice that the sum of the probabilities is equal to 1, and these are the number of heads in two flips. Number of heads in two flips. And this is a good example of a discrete random variable with its associated values and probabilities. And the question is, for any binomial distribution, for any binomial distribution, the question is, how can we calculate the probability of the number of successes for the random variable? And the answer is, we're going to use the calculator. We're going to use two functions on the calculator, binom PDF and also binom CDF.